Even when I've left, I do right by you. I'll be your everything, your blue sky. I go to war, I'll fight. Damn right. Even when I've left, I do right by you. I'll be your everything, your blue sky.
Today's episode is going to be about the process and about staying focused on the process, instead of just focusing on like the end game, right? So when we become stepdads and we step into our new family, we have this vision of how we want things to be. We want our children to love us. We want our families to accept us. We want our wife, our partner to value us. We want people to respect us. And we have this superhero complex. Like we're going to come in and we're saving the day. Like you guys owe me something. And I'm not sure why stepdads or step-parents in general feel like we are somehow guaranteed any success whatsoever, right? Because we are 100% stepping into an environment, into a situation that was poisoned, tainted, messed up, screwed up before we ever even got there. So right off the bat, we are going to be dealing with those old things, everything that happened before you even came into this scenario. And then you have to get past what I like to refer to as this mountain of trust. And for every hill you climb, there is a false summit, and then you got to keep going. The mountain of trust, I don't think can ever fully be reached because it takes, mind you, you can get to the top for sure, but it takes it takes a certain level of commitment and time in order to see yourself there. Sorry, I have some in my mouth. So we come into this situation, we come into our scenarios, right, stepdads, where we feel like we need to be valued, needed, wanted, respect me, love me, trust me, somehow praise me. Praise is maybe not a good word, but hell, think about what it is. You ever had a situation where you're like, where you feel like I don't even need to be here, or if they only knew how much I sacrificed to even be in this spot, or it's like I'm doing them a favor. Here's the thing. This is something that I want every stepdad out there to understand. This process, this journey, sure, you are affecting the children, you are affecting your partner, you are stepping into a situation where you are being asked to lead with weights on your ankles. And their problems and trials and tribulations that occurred before you took place. You're being asked to take all that with you. This journey is more for you than it is for them. This journey is a discovery process, trying to understand the kind of man that you want to be, trying to understand and trying to identify and to define that voice in the back of your head that told you go, that told you this is the place where you need to be. And we have this vision of what the end game looks like, the happy family picture that we send out to friends and family, and everybody kind of just like gives the nod of approval, like they accept us. When in reality, that's not the way it works. That's never the way it works. And when you think it's going to work that way, something hits you blindsided on a Tuesday, and you definitely don't feel defeated, but you feel like, wait, what the hell? And you can lose focus when you lose focus on the reason why you're even in the position that you're in. When you lose focus, you forget about the process and the steps. When we focus on the process, when we focus on the steps, the individual steps and the individual things that we need to be doing on a daily basis in order to better ourselves as men and as fathers and as husbands and as friends and as partners, somebody that's trustworthy. When you can stay focused on that process of bettering yourself, you will better your situation by default. And that is one of the things that step-parents, stepdads specifically, that's one of the things that we struggle with, right? We struggle with that. Again, remember, we have this Superman complex, this value me, need me, want me, somebody give me a high five or tell me I'm doing a great job. And we go into our scenario and we go into our journey, we start our journey, or we are traveling through our journey, and we are wanting all these attaboys, these left and right attaboys, and they're not coming, and we start to get discouraged. And because we haven't been working on ourselves, That discouragement turns into negative talk, which turns into poison, which turns into you leaving. Now, I say this because I understand it. I know it because this is the demons that I've had to fight. These are the demons that I fought. These are the demons that I fight off all the time. Just when you think something is great, something bad happens. And again, remember, vision. We have this vision, this family photo that we want, this amazing family that we think we deserve and that we can get to. And it's great to have that vision. Don't get me wrong. It's 100% amazing to keep that vision and to understand that that's where you want to go. But make no mistake about it, if you are not doing the work, if you're not focusing on that, the process, the steps, if you are not doing the work in regards to the process and the steps, that vision will just continually get further and further away until it doesn't even feel like you can grasp it anymore. Do you understand how important that is to kind of like let it soak in? If you are not doing the daily things, the hourly things, the weekly things, bettering yourself, bettering you and your partner, connecting and communicating with the children, but staying focused on the process, that vision that you can see when you close your eyes, that vivid image, that it will just get blurrier and blurrier until you can't even make out what it is anymore. And again, stepdads, I don't want you to take this as some sort of what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want you to take this as some sort of I'm not trying to discourage you. It's not what I'm trying to do at all. I'm trying to prepare you, right? I could tell you that you'll win the marathon. You'll come in first place. I could tell you that all day. And you might even believe it. You might even get motivated about it. But if you haven't been training every single day for that marathon, no matter what I say and no matter what you envision, you'll never get there. That's not how it works. You have to pay your dues. And dues as stepdads, our dues, our first line of duty, our duty in that family is to better ourselves first. Because we are going to owe it to them. We are the new person in their life that they're going to be learning from, that they're going to be soaking up information from. And if we have these inherited negative thoughts or these inherited negative traits from our past, then we will poison the well. If your partner who just left their scenario or had the scenario, the reason why you're there in the first place, if your partner is holding on these negative thoughts and these negative self-talk and all the stuff that has happened to them, and they're not working on themselves, it will poison the well. It will never work. Do you see how this is like a dog chasing its tail? It takes a community, meaning it takes you and your partner constantly working offline on yourselves and then with each other, so that when you do parent and when you do educate and when you do punish and when you do talk to and give advice and all the things that parents do, you're on the same page, right? For my wife and I, we have this thing where if we find ourselves getting a little bit too frustrated with one of our children, or maybe we are talking in a way that just doesn't seem like it's beneficial to them, we'll say the word banana hammock. We got that off of Friends, but we'll say banana hammock. And what that means is hey, come back down. You're going too far, bring it back, get back to zero, get back to neutral, either start over or just come back to this later. And it's a great way to remember that everything you do and everything you don't do has consequences and it means something. And as stepdads, if our whole goal isn't earning trust, if our whole goal isn't earning the respect for ourselves first, if our goal isn't that, then none of this will work. And I can tell you that if you're doing these things, it's going to feel, in the beginning specifically, it's going to feel like you're going to have way more bad. Your days you're going to have bad days. You're going to have more bad days than good days in the beginning. Because remember, you are dealing with these demons in this past. You are dealing with the reasons why you get upset, why you get angry, and why you frustrated, why you snap, why you roll eyes, why you don't communicate, with all these things. Oh, and by the way, stepdads, one of the biggest things holding us down, just as men in general, but stepdads specifically in our situation, but men in general, is that we, for some reason, can't swallow our fucking pride and admit that we're wrong, admit that we need help, admit that it's okay, admit that we're not perfect, cry, show emotion, all that bullshit that people don't want to do, that is completely needed in order to understand the type of man that we want to be. I saw this video where this lady said that her dad said that crying is a good thing because tears are the WD-40 for the soul. They're needed. They're needed. So don't be afraid to express your emotions. But more importantly, don't be afraid to admit that you're wrong. Dude, stepdads, you know how many times I've screwed up? Oh man, I've screwed up so many times. I've messed up so many times. I've held on to pride so many times. And I could tell you, without question, it never worked. And never in no scenarios did it work out for me. Or did I come out the winner? Never. Only after I would let go and I was willing to communicate and understand certain things about myself and about my partner, about my kids, about my family, was I able to take the necessary steps forward, the progression forward. So don't just focus on the end game, that picture. You can have it in your mind. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with having it in the distance and keeping it in the distance, but making your peace, knowing that the steps are needed. The focus on the process is needed in order to get there. It's like you can see the top of the mountain. I can take binoculars out. I can see closer. But that doesn't mean you've made it to the top of the mountain just because you can see it. You gotta tighten up your boots and begin the climb. And that's where a lot of stepdads fail. That's where a lot of stepdads are at fault. Because they see the climb, they see the summit, they see the mountain. And I mean, it is definitely, it could definitely not ruin your day, but you're looking up at the amount of things that you're about to deal with, and you're like, do I really want to do this? And let me just make it clear, stepdad, if you find yourself in that situation where you love the mom, you value your partner, and you want to be that leader, that mentor, that protector, somebody that they could trust. If that's how you feel and you're there, then you're there for a reason. So stay there. Let me be like very frank and forthcoming with you. I became a better man for this. I've always been a nice guy. Always been confident. Never really cocky. Always outward focused. But being a stepdad and working on myself and focusing on my partnership and then communicating with the kids and expressing pain and anger and frustration, but also admitting failure and understanding that it's okay to be wrong. Like all these things just helped chisel the man you see before you. I would have never been confident enough to share my journey and experiences or even give you any sort of advice if I hadn't done it first. And that's some of the biggest things, some of the biggest problems we face, not only in my industry as far as being a step parent, but like the industry in general as far as the world, which is everybody's willing to dole out the advice. They give you this and do that and the steps here, but they've never fucking done it. But they still want to sell you something. They still want to give you something. And that's tough, man. It's tough to look at it and go, because there are no real books or programs, because man, every agree or disagree, stepdads, we all have different journeys. Everything's different. Sure, there are a lot of similarities, but because our mental focus as individuals are on different levels, our journeys and our experiences will all be different. Remember, same similarities, completely different outcome. So don't think about the end. Don't think about the end anymore. Focus on the process. Focus on the steps. And you will find yourself in a position where you can win. Remember this, stepdads, and I'm going to say this to you straightforward and to your face. Don't focus on the end. Follow the steps in the process, and you can win. But you can only win if you develop trust. Remember, false summits. You know what a false summit is? It's when you're climbing a mountain and you think you've reached the top, and then you get to that and you're like, holy crap, I've got another 3 miles to go up the mountain. That's a false summit. That's what kills a lot of people. That's what takes a lot of people back. A lot of people quit at that false summit because they had this drive and this motivation to get there because they thought that was the top and they realized it wasn't. And if you haven't built that trust, you are going to, trust me, you are going to be going through many scenarios where you're going to be taken to false summits. Things are going to seem good, seem perfect, seem awesome. You think everything's going good, and then something will happen. Something will happen. Trust me. One of your kids are going to say something to your partner, and you're going to think everything was good, but it's not good because they're telling mom something different. And you're like, wait, what? Like, why didn't anybody? I thought I was doing. You know what I mean? And then, again, if you haven't worked on yourself, that will consume you. The negative talk will come in. Maybe you'll fall back into your vices. For me, it was alcohol. And listen when I said it was alcohol, and not anymore. So just remember that. Don't think about the end. You want to put a vision of the end up? Fine. That family picture, go ahead. But don't think about the end. Your days shouldn't be waking up thinking about what the end game is. Your day should be thinking about how can I go from one step right here, where I'm at now, one step forward. That's my job today, to get one step forward as a stepdad. And that one step is going to consist of becoming a better man, becoming a better partner, learning how to communicate, understanding the forgiveness and letting go, and that it's okay to be wrong, showing my emotion, and grabbing another piece of that trust puzzle until you get to a point where, stepdads, when you do take that family photo and the family members do accept you and everybody kind of looks at you like, with the nod of approval, but more importantly, you can look at yourself in the mirror with that nod of approval, and you know that you have the trust, then you've hit that mark and you feel good about it. Make no mistake, that's not the end of it. FYI, the kids grow, and which means that whatever relationship you had with them at 5 is going to be different at 10. Just is. And, oh God, stepdads, listen, do not lose focus on your partner. Don't. Speak their love language. Trust me. You got to make sure you and your partner are locked in. Just trust me. Screwed up on that so many times. So many times. Just trust me. Make sure you guys are locked in. Okay, anyway, that's the episode today. Don't focus on the end, or don't just, what is it? Yeah, don't think about the end. Focus on the process, focus on the steps, and you can get there. Episode 64. Again, if you have not, please like, subscribe, share, YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify. My name is Franco Zavala, the professional stepdad. Thank you guys so much for being here. I love this stuff. I don't know if you could tell. I'm doing my voice, or I love it. And I love doing this, and I love sharing. See you soon.
Damn right. Even when I've left, I do right by you. I'll be your everything.
Quiet on the set, please. Thank you, everybody.